Hey, sneak peekers! Welcome to our special Halloween episode. I'm Valerie.
And I'm Kayla. Happy early Halloween.
To celebrate spooky season, we have a lot of great ideas to help you get in the festive spirit.
Can't wait. Let's get started.
Who remembers the iconic 90s film The Craft? Well, yesterday, the continuation of the 1996 cult fave called The Craft Legacy was released on demand.
The film has several references to the original, including appearances by Michelle Monaghan, David Duchovny, and Nicholas Galzine. This instant spooky classic is the perfect way to kick off Halloween weekend.
And speaking of reboots, Netflix's newest adaptation of Rebecca, based on the novel by Daphne du Maurier, is a must-watch.
The suspenseful gothic romance starring Lily James and Armie Hammer has all the intriguing mystery from Alfred Hitchcock's 1940 adaptation.
And another reboot to look out for is The Witches, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Based on the novel by Roald Dahl, this will be the second film adaptation following the 1990 film of the same name.
The A-list cast includes our favorites, Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, and Octavia Spencer, among others. I can't wait to watch.
And in other news, the streaming platform Quibi that just launched in August has announced that they'll be shutting down by the beginning of December.
With quick bite narrative forms and dozens of A-list stars, the entertainment world had high hopes for Quibi, but it seems they just flew too close to the sun.
Some good news, though, we're finally seeing the return of yet another film festival this year.
That's right. Albeit virtual, Austin Film Festival kicked off last Thursday, the 22nd, and has been premiering a handful of must-watch movies.
AFF will also be hosting a series of panels for us to listen to, with guests such as the creators of HBO's Barry, Bill Hader, and Alec Berg.
Speaking of other awards, the American Cinematheque Award is an award given every year to an artist who makes a significant contribution to the art of the moving picture.
And this year, it'll be rewarded to Spike Lee, the director of BlacKkKlansman, Malcolm X, and so much more. The legendary director will be honored during a virtual tribute on January 14th of next year.
Congratulations to him. Now we're going to kick off this spooky episode with our very own review of Netflix's new series, The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Take it away, Sydney.
Happy early Halloween, sneak peekers. Hopefully, you've all been able to start enjoying some of your favorite fall movies and TV shows now that spooky season has arrived. But for those of y'all still looking for some extra scares, consider trying out Netflix's The Haunting of Bly Manor. Following The Haunting of Hill House in 2018, Bly Manor focuses on a new chapter of Mike Flanagan's emerging Haunting of anthology. For this season, Flanagan drew inspiration from a collection of Victorian horror novels that explore themes relating to identity, time, and death. The show mixes elements of drama, romance, and horror coming together to generate a moody atmosphere that almost feels like a crossover between American Horror Story, Murder House, and Downton Abbey. Told as a simple ghost story, the show travels back to the 1980s to follow an American governess as she starts to work for two orphans in the English countryside. From here, the death of the children's previous au pair and the ominous past of the family's manor house is explored. With a fully realized cast of house staff and restless spirits, several plot lines are explored throughout the season, which can become slightly overwhelming at times. However, the show does at least attempt to clarify most of these points of concern, usually through the poignant monologues that comment on heavy topics such as dementia and alcoholism. Considering the weight of these topics and the density of the plot, the show does a fair job of artistically portraying each of these subjects with nuance. A large reason for the success is the high-quality acting present throughout the show. Victoria Pedretti, commonly known for her portrayal of Love in the Netflix original You, stars as Danny Clayton, whose courage and resilience is especially engaging. The lead child actors also provide strong performances and drive much of the story's action and ensure the audience never gets bored. While it might not be the most terrifying option for a Halloween watch, Bly Manor does have a few good jump scares and plenty of dimly lit wide shots to make up for it. Like in Hill House, these shots often feature half-hidden ghosts lurking in the shadows that can be fun to try and spot. The suspenseful scare also adds to the general scariness of the show and brings life to every eerie sound heard throughout the house. Overall, The Haunting of Bly Manor can be best described as a romantic horror of sorts that balances light and dark topics with somewhat ambiguous results. Despite the presence of heavier themes, the show does have an engaging premise, some wonderfully 80s fashion, and good LGBT representation. So definitely consider adding it to your Halloween watch list. That's all for me. Now back to the house.
Thanks, Sydney. I'll definitely have to add that to my watch list.
Me too. I loved Haunting of Hill House, so I'm sure this one won't disappoint.
Well, we have so much more coming, so sit tight for a quick commercial break.
Welcome back, sneak peekers.
You know, Kayla, I still can't believe how differently we'll have to be celebrating Halloween this year.
Me neither, but after just a little bit of adjusting, I think we'll all still be able to have some fun.
And thankfully, we have Emily here to give us some COVID-friendly, masked-up Halloween costumes for y'all to stay safe.
Take it away, Emily.
Hey sneak peekers, Halloween is already just days away, and if you're anything like me, you haven't even started picking out your costume yet. But not to worry, we're here to help. With Halloween looking a little different this year, we have compiled the best COVID-friendly costumes to keep you safe and looking great this Halloween. Let's start off with the classic. Going as a mummy would be a great, easy costume. While you're bandaging up your all-white outfit with gauze and toilet paper, just add some extra wraps to your mask and you're good to go. Next, a rubber is also a super cute way to cover your face. We all know the staples to this classic costume are a striped shirt and money bags, but a ski mask is the perfect accessory to complete your costume. You can even cut up an old beanie, just make sure it covers your nose and mouth. And for you movie fans, you can go with the classic Bane from Batman, Ghostface from Scream, Darth Vader from Star Wars, the Winter Soldier from Captain America, and so much more. Another super easy mask costume is a cowboy or cowgirl like Woody and Jessie from Toy Story. Switch up the classic outfit with bandanas as a shield from all the dust out west, making a perfect mask to keep you virus-free this Halloween. Just add your hat and boots we know you Texans have laying around, and you'll be looking great. We also know space cowboys seem to be all the rage recently, so you can even add some glitter and neon garments for an out-of-this-world look. Finally, an adorable costume, especially for groups or couples, would be doctors and nurses a la Grey's Anatomy. Our blue disposable masks were hospital chic long before 2020 and make the perfect accessory for your doctor's coat and scrubs. Personally, I would also highly recommend some fake blood splatters to make it extra spooky. While this Halloween may be a little out of the ordinary, we can't wait to see you rock these costumes this year. Whatever you decide to do, remember to mask up, stay safe, and have tons of fun. Happy Halloween! Now back to the hosts.
Thanks for all of those great ideas, Emily.
Now we have another Halloween-themed list for you guys.
Claire is here to tell us all about the best Halloween episodes from her favorite TV shows.
What am I going to be binging this weekend, Claire?
Hey, sneak peekers. If you're like me, you're probably in denial that Halloween is already 2 days away. I mean, I still have candy left over from last year. Since we're still in the middle of a global pandemic, and that's right, folks, it's not over, we here at Sneak Peek have come up with a list of our favorite Halloween episodes. So, instead of trick-or-treating this year, treat yourself to a weekend-long binge of the best spooky specials. Have you ever wanted to see what would happen if a zombie apocalypse took over a community college? Look no further than Season 1, Episode 6 of Community, titled Epidemiology. Dean Pelton buys food for Greendale's Halloween party, but the food is poisonous, which turns nearly everyone on campus into zombies. Dean Pelton locks the doors so that everyone can quarantine, but can the unaffected escape? This timely episode, with both holiday and pandemic spirit, takes us on a ridiculous and plot-twisting ride as we watch the study group slowly fall to the zombies. If you're looking for something with a more serious tone, I suggest Season 2, Episode 6 of This Is Us, the 20s. We experience 2 Halloweens set 18 years apart. In the first Halloween, Jack and Rebecca split up the kids while trick-or-treating due to an argument. The tension from incidents like this manifests themselves later in the second Halloween, when Randall has a nervous breakdown right before Beth is set to go into labor. Set to the ominous backdrop of Halloween, both of these storylines show the different perspectives of family members as they navigate the ups and downs of life. If you're in need of a good 2020 style cry, this could be the episode to break you. Although not necessarily Halloween themed, this episode holds a special place in my heart. Graveyard Shift, arguably one of the best episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants, combines suspense, comedy, and iconic moments between SpongeBob and Squidward as they work the night shift at the Krusty Krab. Grab some popcorn as Squidward tells the story of the legend of the hash-slinging slasher. This episode premiered almost 20 years ago, and I still find myself quoting it. Of course, we couldn't make a list of great Halloween episodes without including one from The Office. Halloween, from season 2, is the first of the show's many Halloween specials. Michael must decide on someone to fire, but that doesn't put a damper on the Dunder Mifflin employee celebration. Jim, the minimalist, dresses up as Paper, while Dwight transforms into a Sith Lord. Pam, Phyllis, and Angela all dress up as cats as well. This episode is full of funny jokes and one-liners, not to mention Jim and Pam's plan to post Dwight's resume on the internet. While you spend this Halloween safely at home, we hope this list helps you pick the best episodes to watch to get into the spooky spirit. Put on your best costume, grab a bucket of Halloween candy, and let the TV treat you this Halloween. Now back to the hosts.
I could watch that episode of The Office 100 more times.
Me too. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. Although we already went over our favorite Halloween TV episodes, we can't forget the best scary movies to watch this weekend too.
I know, I have so many favorite scary movies, it's hard to pick just one.
It really is. But it's a good thing that we put together a great panel to discuss which spooky movies take the crown. Take a look.
Hey sneak peekers! Hopefully you've all been getting all into the Halloween spirit. To help you get more into a festive mood, we went ahead and made a panel to discuss some of our favorite scary movies. So today we'll be speaking with some horror experts and we'll get right into it. So what are some of the first scary movies that you guys watched?
Alexis, would you like to go first? I can't remember. I have to think about that for a second.
Honestly, I don't know if you consider this scary, but this does go with the Halloween theme. Halloween Town, because I remember it always coming on Disney, and I would always get excited, and I don't know. I just love Debbie Reynolds, so I used to always get excited about Halloween Town. I mean, I watched every single one, and then when Ryan Evans came from, was it High School Musical, I was like, oh my gosh, no, he didn't. But anyways, I really remember watching Halloween Town for like one of my first Halloween movies, but scary movie-wise, probably Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say, because I know my mom watched it when she was younger, and she showed me the older one, and she was like, yeah, I don't think you get too scared, but yeah, there were some movies I could not watch, and I still like am scared to watch to this day.
I think for me, one of the earliest like scary movies that I watched that like really got to me was the original Ghostbusters. And I don't like entirely remember why, because like watching it now, it's like, oh, it's funny, and it's like, oh, it's like the Marshmallow Man. But like as a kid, that kind of stuff like freaked me out completely, and I was probably like way too young to watch it. Otherwise, I would like to agree with Halloween Town sentiment. I think Halloween Town is the perfect starter for kids getting into Halloween and scary movies. I just watched the first one like this past week again, and so I was like, wow, like bringing back memories like a rush.
Yes, all those Disney Channel originals. So this next question might take us just a little bit longer, but if y'all had to compile a list of all of the horror classics, like the staples of what makes the genre, what are some of the entries y'all would make on that list?
Honestly,
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one too.
No pressure.
Do you want to go like back and forth, Alexis? Like
Yeah, we
each
can.
go one? Okay. I think starting off, like if you're starting like all the way back at the beginning, you could easily do something like Nosferatu from like the 20s, where you're getting like some like classic iconic, like this is the staple for like a lot of the genre that follows. I think that would be, and it's like it still is really enjoyable to watch now, especially if you can like find one with like a really good score over it. Like it's still like really scary, even I guess almost like 100 years later?
I would say like, yeah, if we're starting from the beginning, like Dracula, for sure all the Alfred Hitchcock movies, like Psycho,
Mm-hmm.
Psycho, the birds and everything. One year my mom actually decorated our yard's birds theme because she's a big Alfred Hitchcock. She loves Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh,
But
that's
anyways,
wonderful.
but honestly, probably the most like horrifying movie, just because it was like based on a true story, would probably be The Exorcist. That really set off like, you know, just being out there and different. Like that was actually a movie my mom never let me watch until maybe high school because she was like scared that I was gonna get nightmares because she was younger. She got nightmares from it, but The Exorcist was probably like the one that was like historic for me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
genuinely terrifying, like even to this day.
Mhm.
I think if we keep going and like get into like slasher territory, I mean, we already mentioned it, but like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, even later on when you get like the Scream movies, I think are really great and like a really great like meta take on the genre. And I think that like not only like are they like really fun to watch because like they're like picking apart like horror tropes, but they also are really scary too. I think that would fit well. Other stuff, I mean, if we're getting more into like genre bending stuff, I think like sci-fi horror, you get like John Carpenter's The Thing, which is really fun. It's like a super scary movie that has like a lot of great practical effects and like a really great like environment. Or you can get to like Alien, Ridley Scott, like that's another really scary movie that also like dips into like the sci-fi train too. But yeah.
Yeah, if we get into like really like things that like probably change the thrillers, like just from the oh man, it's just gonna be a killer. Da, 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 da. No, The Silence of the Lambs, probably like that was a game changer. What else? Silence of the Lambs, The Shining. The Shining is really good, and honestly, the new It, like I still get kind of scared from it. I just genuinely don't like clowns, so it still kind of bothers me. But anyway, yeah, I would say those kind of set off the horror thriller.
Yeah, good Stephen King representation right there at the end. Okay. So we've kind of touched, oh, sorry, don't mean to cut you off.
No, sorry, you're totally good. I was gonna add a couple like newer ones now. Like I think even now, like I think we're in a little bit of like a horror renaissance when you have stuff like The Witch or The Lighthouse or like Get Out and Us. If you have like It Comes at Night or even like the Conjuring stuff, I think like we have a lot of really like new wave of almost like a lot like smarter horror, especially compared to like a lot of the gory stuff that we saw in like the 2000s. So I think like even now the genre is still like trying out new things and like doing it in a lot of new ways too.
Oh yeah, since you just said that, like Get Out, oh my gosh, Get Out was that was a masterpiece.
So to kind of start wrapping us up, just going off of what you've kind of been asking before, do you have any favorite sub genres within horror? Do you have favorite witch films, favorite alien movies, favorite gore fest, little special sub genre?
That's another hard one. I think what we always keep returning to is like easily slasher. But I especially like a lot of the meta slasher ones, like we've been talking about, like some of the Nightmare sequels and like Scream, or even something like I'm trying to remember what it was called. It came out a couple years ago. I think it's called Final Girl, but it does the same stuff of like takes a lot of like the slasher iconography and like kind of turns it on its head. And that's always something I like because I feel like slasher is like very like cemented as like a Halloween or even like specifically like a horror classic genre. So yes. Beyond that, I like a lot of like the sci-fi horror stuff because I think there's like a lot of really fun stuff you can do there. But I don't know. There's a lot of the sub-genres.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big suspense girl, if that counts for, like, more of a sub-genre. I don't know. It's more of its own genre. But anyways, suspense, yeah. I'm a big suspense person. I like being put on my toes and stuff. And like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Well, thank you both so much for giving us all these great recommendations. I hope that all you sneak peekers out there can watch as many of these as possible to get into the Halloween spirit. But I think that's all for our panel. Thank you both again so much. Back to the hosts.
Thanks, guys. Well, that's it for us this week. And even though everything is done from home, we still have a lot of great content for you to watch.
That's right. So be sure to follow us on social media at Sneak Peek TV and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And happy Halloween, and remember to please stay safe. We can still have fun this year with the holiday without letting our guards down.
So mask up, stay safe, and eat some candy at home while watching Hocus Pocus for the 50th time.
How'd you know what my plans were? Thanks for watching. Good night.